G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by Algared. How you doing, mate?
Doing well, as usual.
You look so happy to see me, Algared. No? Okay, what? Right. You just looked a bit down. That's all right. Now you smile.
No, it's just a normal morning. Just a normal morning.
Haven't had your coffee. It's all good.
That's right, I haven't had my coffee.
Yeah,
Shut up!
He's a grumpy old man when he's anyway.
Old man Hurst without ever crack is a grumpy old fella.
Well, we've been here for a couple of hours now with PhasedKitten, who's the voice in the void. How you doing, PhasedKitten?
I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
Good. So we've been going over your fleet today. There has been a little, few little tricks and bumps that we went through, couple little packs that we've had to go through, but we've worked out some stuff. We've talked to a few people. We're going to get you some deals afterwards. But we've had to kind of simplify this down. So you're kind of seeing the start and the end product, but we're not going to go through a lot of the details because there is a lot of moving parts to this, and there's a lot of things for the future. There's a lot of things that if, buts, and maybes. So we're just going to kind of show you what he has now and what he would like to get to, because otherwise this is going to be like a 4-hour episode, and I can see people in the comments, I want the 4-hour episode. You're not getting the 4-hour episode, I'm telling you, it's too long. You're tired. Yeah, and Algared's grumpy, and I'm grumpy, so yeah, you're not getting it.
I'm not grumpy. Yeah.
You're hangry. You're hangry, I think would be the term.
No.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm caffeinated. Lack of caffeine. So that's different. Totally different.
Yes. So really quick, Algared, do you want to kind of go over the basics? The basics, yep. Yeah. Where we started.
The first thing, as we do always, whenever we do a Fix My Fleet, is we ask, what are the professions or the things you actually want to do in verse? And so, rather than just me repeat what you said, why don't you tell us, Phased, what were the 4 professions that you actually listed and said that you were really keen to do in verse?
Well, the first one would definitely go and be like mercantile merchant stuff, and that involves like a lot of collecting. So, just it would be mostly like rare items from animals, stuff like that. Like I'm really into that stuff later on in the future.
So just as a side note, tell people who Zorg you're in.
I actually forget the name of it right now.
But aren't you in an org with Paul?
Oh, yes. The League of Relic Hunters.
So now everyone knows what page you're on. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm very much so into that kind of stuff and rare items and things like that. But
with that crazy lunatic, no, I shouldn't say that.
No, actually, I'm self-admitted.
Yeah. So yeah,
he's not into the Pokemon must collect them all for ships, but he's into Pokemon. I must collect all the little Easter eggs in games.
So
that was number 1.
And then we had we actually had quite a number, because normally we only usually do 3, but we actually had bounty hunting, industry and architectural and relics, exploration and combat. So we had quite a few. Normally we only do 3. The real big one I'll come back to though was the industry, because that was such a big one. That was almost where most of the work was done on this fleet. So when we flip over, you'll kind of see it is a bit more industrial focused when we flip over. For me, Algared, I don't know about you, it was really interesting that bounty was number 2, but there was no real bounty hunting ship in that.
Yep.
In there. And there was no industry either.
Yeah. So there was no industry and no bounty hunting. So they were when you went through the 4 things you wanted, we looked at the fleet and we went, there's no bounty hunting, there's no industry, and that started getting the balls rolling. So next step, what have you got? So what are the 2 packs you've got, and then what are the standalones you've got, and then we'll go through and look at how those ships work in.
I have the Mega Exploration Pack 2950, I believe it's called. And the Banu Combo Pack. And then from there, they're all standalone ships.
Yep.
So a bit of the work that I didn't really want to go into, but a bit of the work was getting him out of one of those packs because it's not the best value. But we've got plans for that. But we're not going to go into that. I'd love to stay away from that because otherwise it's a can of worms. But yeah, we've got some things we're going to help him with to get him out of that. But you'll see what he's going to get to on the other side. Right, so Grey Cat, I don't think you really need to talk about, but the Mule, What drove you towards the meal?
I love Drake. It's cute.
You need to get
That's
out
about
more
it.
if you find that cute, but okay, I get what you mean.
You even called it cute, X.
No, I know it is. There is something about it. Like when Algared and I were driving it, there was just something about it that was really interesting. Zero turning circle. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah, it is. It had the tightest turning circle of any vehicle in game ever.
Well, if I had to pick it between this and the hover bike as an example, what
Man,
about?
I'd go the mule.
So, Phase, what about the hover bike? What was your?
I got that as the referral bonus that just happened.
Yep. Is that similar thing with a PTV? Was that a referral as well? Or?
PTV I got standalone. I mean, it was just $15 that I had extra over from melting something.
Did you get that last year?
No, I actually got it like just right before Ship Showdown. Actually,
you might be able to.
He was supporting the
Might be able to get it and melt it for free because it looks like they're going to be giving it to us for free at Citizen Con. Anyway, this is the
Cyclone
RN. Yeah, I was trying to remember the number, or not number, the letter and abbreviation. So yeah, what's your draw behind that? Scanning, I assume, of some description.
I have no idea what it even does.
It's in the pack.
Oh, you don't even know what it does. So it's
okay.
It's a cyclone that has a scanner on it. So it's kind of like a searching cyclone, like a scout. It'd be your ground scout vehicle. It's probably my favorite version of the Cyclone.
It's really fun to drive. It is.
Yeah. I just wish it didn't give up all its storage. I wish it had a little bit of storage.
Yeah.
A lot. There's just emptiness back there.
Yeah. A lot of the vehicles are all or nothing, and I'm not a fan of that. I wish there was like, yes, you don't get as much cargo, but in return you get this. But that's just not how they've made them. So.
As an Explorer vehicle, it is actually quite a good one for gathering information. Yep. So,
Dragonfly referral, I'm assuming, because it's black. No. Yes?
No, it comes in the exploration pack too.
Oh, jeez, man, I do not know my packs. Anyway, the Ursa, I assume this comes with the Carrack or
comes in the pack because it comes in the pack because it's in the Ursa and the.
Right, so there's two Pisces then. So one's from the pack. What's the other one from?
From the Carrack.
Mm-hmm.
So one from the pack and one from the Carrack.
Yep.
What? That's a thing?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's crazy to me when I realized that. Because it comes with a snub.
Can you answer the phone, please? It's driving me nuts.
They keep on calling back. I keep on hanging.
Just unplug the phone. All right. Anyway, he's getting spam calls apparently all day, so that's what it is. That's what that is, if you're wondering. Anyway, what's this? A Merlin? Is this in the pack? Seriously?
Yep.
Is that... Oh wow.
Yep. With the Aquila. Yep.
Oh, crazy. All right. Pirate Gladius. What was it? Finally, actually getting to one that you might actually be able to tell some stuff about. Why did you pick up the Pirate Gladius? Phased?
He's muted himself because he's getting those calls.
Yeah, I went and ripped out the batteries of the other home phone. I hate home phones.
That's all good. So the Pirate Gladius, why did you pick that up?
I mean, I had one beforehand that I bought standalone because Gladius is just a really fun and nice ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, after hearing you guys and watching you guys, I was like, maybe I shouldn't go and get this. But right now, I do like the skin that it offers.
And that's totally fine. You got now and later. I think my only problem with this ship is there's no way to CC you into it because I think a lot of people would CC you into it so they could get lifetime insurance. I think that's the only thing I don't like about it. To be honest with you, I would have one if I could get LTI on it. I know that sounds weird, but it's very easy to get LTI these days. So the fact that they kind of cock block you from getting that, I don't know. Algared, are you the same? Have you got one, Algared?
Yeah, I do, but it's in a pack. But
well, there you go.
I would get one if it was, if I was after standalone, I would get one if it could LTI. It's frustrating that it's not because I don't think there's no hard point difference. It's just a different loadout and a skin. So you're basically paying for the skin.
Yeah, and realistically, you'll be able to get the skin with reputation growing somewhere in game anyway. So yeah, Prospector. I think this one's kind of obvious, but why did you pick this one up?
Well, it's definitely a very meta ship currently. And that's, I think, why I picked it up is when I got it when I just got that pack. And I mean, I was getting paid really well around that time. And so.
So it's a CCU chip in the pack, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The comedian in me wants to tell people a fake profession that you do, but I'll say nothing. All right, the Scorpius.
It looks cool.
Mm.
And I really wanted, not needed, a two-seater fighter. And it's not purchasable in game yet, so I guess I was just spending money on that one.
I'm actually curious if they actually will make this purchasable in game, because I think they will make it. Has been a fairly popular ship. I think they will keep it limited to keep the money flowing, but you know, time. It's
been over 3 months.
Yeah, so you're a big fan of this Defender, and you were saying it. I believe you said before the show it's because it's linked fairly heavily with your merchantman. But do you actually like the ship itself? Like, what appeals to you from this specifically?
I really love the Banu aesthetic and the sounds and just the way the ship flies too. Yeah. I really love the retractable landing gear, and it's just
I can relate to all that. Yeah, I can relate to all that.
And she might become good once those EM missiles come.
Yep.
And it is a two-person fighter, although it's totally different from the Hurricane and the Scorpius in the way that two people work.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on that. I don't know about you two, but I'm not really sold on that mechanic yet.
I feel like it might come in later, but
at the moment,
right now, no.
If you have two people in a Defender, one person's there going, twiddling their thumbs, and
but
on the Hurricane or the Scorpius,
it just doesn't make sense, because like in a turret you get it right. I can see somewhere in opposite direction and shoot where the pilot can't, and that would be amazing if it was some kind of sniper turret or something like that. But it just
retractable.
Maybe it's with the EMP missiles. Maybe they can be fired in different directions or something.
That's my thinking.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see, because at the moment where all the guns are firing forward, it has to be the missiles, because just nothing else seems to make sense. All right, 350R. I think this is quite a rare one now, so it is one of the few Origin ships I can give a pass on.
This is a 15.
This is a P, and it's in the pack.
It is it's in the pack. All right, I can give a pass on it too because of the utility amount, actually. So yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah, that is one aspect that seems like it could become useful later on.
So is that your draw? You don't have a draw to this at all? So this is on the chopping block?
I'm not a big fan of Origin ships myself. It's just like feels like I'm in too much luxury. And so it's like I would rather buy it in game.
Finally, a man with taste. Right. Okay, moving on. What is this one?
This is the Harbinger.
Harbinger. Yeah.
And it's a CCU from the Terrapin, which is in the pack.
Okay.
So why did you CCU to it?
Yeah.
I really liked. It was before I realized how cheap the Vanguards are in game.
Yep. Okay. Lesson learned there.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bounty hunting ship you were kind of thinking about as, or
yeah, exactly that.
All right, I take back my previous statement, because you've got this behemoth.
Pack.
It's in the pack.
It came in the pack.
All right. What about the Retaliator? Did you get that, or is that in the pack as well?
That I used as a CCU from the Centurion pack that came out during Invictus.
Okay.
And I mean, it's just a great bomber.
Yep. Have you been using it for bounty hunting? I've been using one for bounty hunting recently.
Yeah, I've been trying to a little bit more. I keep on getting the bug with the torpedoes not going and restocking.
And it sucks too, because it takes the money and doesn't give you the torpedoes, and it's a very expensive bug. Right, the Aquila. Not the Aquila, the Aquila to the American audience that cannot pronounce words. Anyway, what is it? Why do you have this? Is this in the pack?
It's definitely in the pack, but I do love Connie's as a whole, and I mean, I think it will become a very useful ship later on.
I don't disagree on that. Algared, you'd probably say the same thing.
Yeah, I my personal view at the moment is it's probably the best of the Connies. It's slightly less firepower than an Andromeda, but
they really
down the track.
Like a couple of little things they could do is, like, if they end up making this front screen modular and you can put that on any Connie, that is just like a no-brainer for me. That's what they should do, because then you can just put it on anyone you want. Like, in fact, with the way this ship is designed, it is primed for modularity with what they call the I think they called it the head, the neck, and the body. If they actually did that, can you imagine where you could just chop and change between all the different Phoenix variants? That would make it one of the coolest ships in the entire game. And if they have a totally different neck area that you can put in, that is probably more elaborate for the Phoenix version, that is what I would do. Like that's probably the way they should look at this is go full modular with this ship and make it so it's chop and changeable. And I think they might really be on a winner there.
And it is Chris's baby.
That's probably a discussion for a show, Algared, believe it or not. Like another can we fix it on the Phoenix.
Can we fix it again?
Again. 400i, the ugly duckling.
The one origin ship that I like. I think it looks like Darth Maul's ship in from like Phantom Menace. And it just
does
I would love to Yeah, I would love to go, but as I've owned it and flown it, and I'm starting to dislike it a little bit more and more. Like I wish the guns were retractable, like the turrets especially, they just block a lot.
Well, as Algared kind of mentioned today, I think it's one of those first ships, because we were talking about farming this week and animals and stuff, and with those climate controlled rooms, I think the benefit of this ship is really still to be seen. I think that really will be a big thing that we just haven't grasped onto yet.
The one part though that I'm disappointed about is that it doesn't come with the bike.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, they did have the bike on the roadmap at one point this year, so I'm almost half suspecting it could be one of the ones we see at the sale, but we'll see. Might go straight in the game. We'll see. Won't hold my breath, but we'll wait and see. All right, MSR, was this in the pack or did you pick this one up yourself?
I picked this one up myself. I like desperately want that like Han Solo Millennium Falcon feel, of course.
I think that's why most of us
why it's sold, I think. That's so popular.
Yeah, I think for me the only drawback,
the 5 doors.
Well, there's a couple of drawbacks to this ship that me and Algared have. The first one is the one that he always complains that I remind him of, but it is really obvious. Is once you see it on stilts, you can't unsee it.
Hate you for that.
The stairs instead of the elevator at the back, only one entrance. All the components being right near the back entrance. And the one that it sounds like to me it's the biggest one, but it's a complete vanity thing, is they didn't put in the skylight in the recreation area, and I hate that because that was in the concept. And
it really has become a Crusader element, hasn't it? But there are no windows.
Yeah,
you had your cockpit and that's it. No windows anywhere else.
Their shuttle is all window.
It's just really weird, and I anyone that knows anything about like. The way I would put it to is like when they have people in prison, they used to originally put people in prisons and have no windows, and they legally now have to have windows and stuff because it actually makes people go crazy. So yeah, and I think it's the same in this. I just feel really disjointed when I'm in this ship.
And the way you have to walk through the servers as if like you would want to go and contaminate them, like it's just seems odd.
Walking through the service isn't my frustration with that ship. It's the endless corridors to get to the cockpit, and it's a Crusader thing.
The C2 is real bad about that, or all of the Hercules.
Right, the Carrack. I know it's in the pack, but you kind of told us that this was the whole main reason you got the pack. So what's the draw card to Carrack for you?
It's everything that encompasses what I would like to do and capable of what I would like to do. Because when the game finally goes and starts becoming a real game, I'm definitely gonna have crewmen always, and not necessarily NPC, like real players with me. And I enjoy group play, and I feel like I love the aspect of going out into the unknown for a little bit, going out there, dealing, surviving, and then coming back.
So, Algared, you'd say that this is probably the ship that kind of speaks to that archaeological relic hunter, probably than anything else.
It certainly does the exploration aspect, and if you've got your Ursa that comes with it and a C8 Pisces, so you've got the ability to take the ship and go deep and look for things. You've got the Ursa so you can travel on the planets. You've got the Pisces so you can fly to asteroid fields or else. Other things, because he's got a crew, he doesn't need to worry about the pilot not having guns. It is jack of all trades for that.
I just had a really interesting observation in my head. Like, this ship is $600 and comes with the extra vehicles. The Odyssey is $600 but comes with nothing. So yeah. Anyway,
I didn't even realize that when I bought it too. When I learned that, I was like, they should really say this. I feel like more people would spend more money on that actually.
And to think, once upon a time, that was what, 250 or was it 350 always?
Yeah,
yeah.
It takes more than $100 off the price of the carrick. And when you do it like that, you kind of go, whoa, okay, that really... I think it's $110, so that really...
Makes me appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. The Merchman. I think this one's kind of obvious because of your top thing is Merchant. So, yeah. But tell us anyway.
Yeah, so it came in the combo pack, obviously. And I didn't realize, like, how the Banu Merchantman got huge since I last knew about it. And then once I learned all about it and Alien Week came around, I had to go and get.
And you managed to get that in a pack with the Defender for, what was it, 500?
Yeah, 510.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good deal considering you're getting 2 ships. So I think you did fairly well in that regard. All right, so as we flip over to what me and Algared are kind of recommending, you got to remember he was going for Merchant with bounty hunting, industry, exploration, combat. Algared, I've just realized as I'm doing this, we forgot to add the Polaris to this list. But anyway, so
oh yeah,
we have to kind of add a Polaris in here. So I will probably.
I totally forgot too.
Yeah, I've just realized. So I'm going to do this on the fly. This is going to be one of the most ad hoc episodes. Phone ringing, screaming. But yeah.
I tried to prepare so hard too.
All right, so I'll just smack it in the middle there anyway.
Yep. And I can already see our chat screaming at us for getting rid of all of those daily drivers.
Yep.
I know it. I can see it because we do it all the time. And I just need to point out, of the ships in there, we've got a Crucible, which will give you our Connie Andromeda as a loner. We've got a BMM, which gives you the Defender and a Herc C2 as a loner. There's the Orion, which gives you a Mole and a Prospector as a loner. And the Endeavour gives you a Starfarer and a Cutlass Red as a loner, in which case you've got daily drivers coming out the wazoo while you wait for those ships to turn up.
Yeah, and those daily drivers right now are generally the now meta ships.
Actually, that's a really good point. I was trying to remember that for the end, but you said that to me, and I think Algared and I will agree. This is a very now fleet.
Yeah.
You know, especially with the Banner Merchantman just around the corner. But all these ships right now, as I said, he's really missing his bounty hunting and industry stuff. So it's very combat focused.
And one of the things that Phase said to us when he came in, he said, "This is a now fleet, and I'm really trying to look at the future." And where I want to be and how I want to get there. So, hence some of the changes that have been made.
Yeah, so we added in the Redeemer because that is probably the best bounty hunting in the game at the moment. The same thing with the Polaris there, but it also allows him to support other fighters and stuff in the future. Things like the Crucible and Endeavour, believe it or not, the Crucible is probably on the bottom of the list. It would probably be the first thing on the chopping block. But the Endeavour, the first thing, when we went into industry, he actually gave us in preferential order. So I'm going to read them out. He actually said plant and animal farming, salvage, ore, liquid and gas, and then refining. So actually, that actually puts, for him specifically, the Endeavour goes to the top of the list for him.
Of those industrial ships.
Yeah.
I must say, I'm not a big fan of the Endeavour, but I love the dreams of the Endeavour.
So, and the Endeavour is just, you know, the way you talk about the Banner Merchantman going up in size and increasing and stuff, all that is more than likely going to happen for the Endeavour as well.
It's crazy seeing it on here, how tiny it is.
Yeah. Especially when Paul's heard things like it's at one point it was kind of as big as a javelin type aspect. That massive.
Actually, wasn't it Bengal? I thought it was Bengal. Because Bengal's
it may have been a Bengal. I didn't want to go that big because I wasn't.
I feel like it should be Bengal sized.
Well, at the very least, I think you and I worked out it's got to increase. It's got to at least double in size at the very least, and it's like 200 meters.
And price.
Well, yeah, that'll. But because of the Cutlass screw in size, and it's more than likely, John Crew has actually said it's got to hold the Apollo. So just based on that alone, it has to increase. So yeah.
Or they just make the hanger grow and it blows out the aesthetics of the whole ship. So in that sense, they'll try and make it grow.
So let's go through.
I could see it being as big just when they white boxed it and put everything what we want in and said, oh, it's this big. Now we've got to kind of to bring it back a bit. So yeah.
All right, so let's go through this real quick. So Reclaimer, obviously for salvage, because he talked about that. The Endeavor for farming. The Orion for ore, as he said. So that was his top 3 industrial. We mentioned the Redeemer and the Polaris for bounty hunting. The Crucible is because he has big capital ships and they are hard to move around. But as I said, that is the one at the bottom of the list and on the chopping block.
Love the idea of that kind of career too.
Yeah, and the other 2 are because they are leftovers from his other fleet. But after all that, Algared, I'll let you say it. You go for it.
Yeah, but after all that, he said, but I really like the Kraken. And so it's a while it's not on the list as an immediate purchase, it is something he wants to work towards, and so that's there as well. And that could even be he goes a privateer because of that can tie into the mercantile aspect and be a mobile rest stop. But
what was my savings again from all my other packs? It would be like 800.
It's about 850 left over. So, but one of the things we worked with you is you did say you want to put more money into the game, and believe it or not, just because of the way it's structured with the ships that he wants, if he was to get one more ship, and that's why we recommended the Crucible, it would actually work out cheaper for him to buy the Kraken with cash. That's how weird it was.
Yep.
But because he's a fairly new, he's only been in the game about 12 months, so he doesn't have any real big pack savings, and he's more likely, if we cycle him out of the pack, he's going to get more savings, more than likely from the Warbond CCUs than the pack itself. And I think the pack that he got only had like 14% saving, so you can generally do a lot better because if you look at the ships he's got there, he's got, you got the Carrack, the Banner Merchantman, the Polaris, and the Orion all have CCUs that can have some, really big savings. Just 2 of those on each of those will be more than 14%. So I think he's primed for that. The Redeemer is a really good ship for him right now in game. He's playing with 3 mates. He's in an org, so the Redeemer would be a really good one, like out of almost anything. And believe it or not, you can kind of daily drive it a little bit.
I bought it in game, daily drive it.
Yep. So it's really, really, really fun. There are a lot of people that shit on it, including Paul. But I even got Paul to admit that when it does get those bounty hunting modules, it's probably going to be one of the best combat ships.
Sorry,
that's all right.
Cut you off there. But yeah, it is a great ship, and if you've got it fully crewed, it is a beast for bounty hunting. It's not that good in terms of cargo hauling because it doesn't have much cargo, but it's still
2 SU.
But it's still there. You could use that to go relic hunting.
Yeah,
because
I use it as the when you go and make those SCU boxes, I go and stuff them right in there, and they're perfect for when I have people aboard.
The other thing that
the refrigerator's broke.
The other thing a lot of people don't realize is that those current containers we have are like a quarter SCU or an 1/8 SCU. I haven't quite worked out what that is, but like an actual full SCU cargo container is huge. And I don't know if you've seen the one. I think the ones we've got now are a little bit bottomless because they seem to hold so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. Like I know I was on a guy's Redeemer the other day, and he had 2 of those, and they were just full of so many guns, and I'm like, this is so unrealistic. So I do think
if you go and fill it with armor, it fills up really quickly.
Yeah, so I think they will change a little bit in the future, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. So I think that's probably temporary for now. So maybe with the cargo refactor things will change, but it's still in a good place.
It's just modular ship, awesome. Love the Redeemer, even though it still looks like a trash can and inside is so empty. It will become a great ship eventually.
So with the things that are kind of up in the air, you are going to come back to me and Algared, and we're going to kind of go through this again with you at AIE, or we'll set someone up with you to do so. And that's just the nature of it because we don't know what the Warbond CCUs are going to be. So that's a little bit.
I kind of set myself up for
that's it. And the packs that we're going to help you with and other stuff like that. But I don't want to go through all that because there's too much to go through.
The key thing with packs, yes, you can get savings with packs, but these days, unless you are really stuck and only have credits, packs are not the best value because you can buy an LTI token and use Warbond CCUs if you're putting cash in and get every ship for significantly cheaper than you will get in a pack.
I'll agree.
While talking to you guys, I learned how much you can actually go and lose by basically buying those packs.
Yep. So it even comes down to the pack you pick too, isn't it, Algared? That's something that we were looking at today. So yeah.
Yep.
All right then. with that, is there anything else that you would like to say, Phased? Like, are you happy with how it turned out? Is there any other things, questions or anything you've got to say?
I don't know, but I'm definitely happy about how it turned out because this was a real brain like fart for me. I ended up like this about like right at Ship Showdown, and I was like, oh, where am I gonna go from here when I actually want to play the game later on? And you picked the ships that I really do enjoy, and you managed to go and fix it really nicely. I thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Well, sometimes it is just
nice to hear.
confusing. We hear that a lot. Like,
It is.
To me, this is a weird thing to say, but to me in Algared it's become second nature. So sometimes we look at things and just go, why hasn't this person done this? But there is a lot of moving parts with any of them and multiple Excel sheets and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons we like to do the images, because you can just look at it and absorb it in seconds. And it's one of the first things we do. People always send us Excel sheets, and the first thing we say is, please send us a fleet image, because it just flips it like that and makes it so much easier to understand. All right, if you like this type of content, like this video. It really helps us in the algorithm. If you're into this type of content, consider subscribing as well. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can join us on Patreon, like the people at the end of the video have done. Algared, is there anything you would like to add?
Don't forget to leave a comment. Yep, don't forget to leave a comment. We do read every single comment. We don't always answer every single comment, but we do read every single comment. And again, it feeds the algorithm, and that is
I am open
for
to
us.
any recommendations.
Yeah, so recommendations for PhasedKittens fleet. Do you like what we've done? There, is there anything that we could possibly change? We have left a few things open there as well, so we can, we can move things in and out, so we can, take a Polaris out or the Crucible or things like that. We are always aware of people spending more money, but that is something that he wants to do, so we tailor it.
Not too much more. Not too much more.
Yeah, we do.
So we do try to work things particularly for the individual, and when we take a ship out of a fleet, we're not saying it's bad, we're not saying it's useless. There are ships in there that we do like, that we've removed, but it's seeking to get the ships that he needs or wants.
Yeah, it's tailoring. So you're taking it out
him,
because it's not for
with
him.
the idea that he can earn those other ships in game.
That's it, Algared, in a nutshell. That's really well said. All right. Well, the voice in the void has been PhasedKitten. He's been
Say
Algared.
bye, Phased.
Yep. He's
Bye,
been Algared.
Inforunners.
I've been Execute.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.